wonderful people. Groovy Mom is here. Okay, so I'm back with another recipe. This time it is tomato soup. It does not have a lot of ingredients in it. It does not take a lot of time. It is not expensive. This is definitely one you'll want to add to your rotation. Okay, so here's the basic ingredients you need to make the soup. Crushed tomatoes, some garlic, and some chicken broth. My chicken broth comes in a jar and I mix it with water, so that's why it looks the way it does. And then lastly, you're going to need some onions and some butter and a little bit of sugar. So here are my onions, just rough chopped and thrown into the pot. Of course, there's a little bit of butter in there, and then I also, after I get that going a little bit, I put in the sugar. So the sugar is for two reasons. It's to cut down the tartness of the tomato soup. If you've noticed, the tomato soup usually has a little bit of a sweetness to it. And then also, I like to put it in with the onions because it helps it caramelize a little bit faster. And I like the flavor of the more caramelized onions in the soup recipe. But you can do what you want to do. If you don't want your onions to cook as fast, you don't want that sweetness mixed in with your onions, just add it later. Don't add it with your onions. But for me, that's what I do. I'm going to let these go for about 5 to 10 more minutes till they get where I like them. And then you can see on the side here, I've also got some rice going because I am cooking Sunday dinner, but I'm also cooking some meal prep items for my son. So you're going to have to excuse my pink cooking sweatshirt and my kind of cluttered kitchen and the things that are all over the place because I just really wanted to share this recipe. I've made it a few times and I really like it. It's so easy, so hearty, so inexpensive. I just want to make sure that I share this. So I have my 2 cans of, I think I have crushed tomatoes here, yeah. So you don't have to have crushed tomatoes, especially if you are going to go and use your stick blender later. You don't need crushed tomatoes. You could use diced tomatoes, chopped tomatoes, but just go ahead and throw those into your pan with the onions. And then you're going to want to add your chicken broth. And so, like I said, I have just the bouillon. It's kind of like a pasty stuff that I drop in there. And I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I'm going to plop that in, and then I'll add some water. And then, of course, we have some garlic. So you can kind of play with this and see how much you like, but I will show you the recipe later. I use a little bit more garlic, and I also don't measure, so there goes my garlic. May or may not have shown you this before, but pro tip, if you're too short to reach the top of your cabinet, just grab a pair of tongs and you can easily get the spices or whatever you need from the top. And this is our final ingredient, basil. And after that's in, then basically we just need to kind of sit back and wait and let all the flavors mix together and bubble for a little while. Sometimes I do like to add like a shot of cream to it, just to make it a little bit more of a creamy tomato soup. You can do that. You don't have to do that. Completely up to you. And now here's kind of part 2. I'm going to make my open face grilled cheese sandwiches. And it's a little bit ASMR-y because that soothing sound of cheese and butter and all of it together is kind of delicious. I like to use different cheeses sometimes, but cheddar is definitely my go-to. And of course, being a Wisconsinite, if I could use Wisconsin cheese, all the better. And then, as you can see over here, I have my crock pot full of sweet potatoes for Thanksgiving. I'm doing some meal prep. Oh, tomato soup, it is ready. You can see the cheese melting. This is just sharp cheddar from Aldi. Using it up. And you can see in a second here, I'm going to make my fatal mistake for this one. I'm going to flip it, and it's going to stick a little after I tap it, and messed her up just by doing that. There. That's it. Right there. But do you hear that sizzling? Oh my gosh, yum. And the crustiness of the bread there. Oh. Hear that? Yum. So here, this is where I'm going to try to flip it, and it's going to stick in that rotten spot that I kind of scooched it over. But it doesn't matter. There's like a delicious nub of just that like hard, cheesy cheese. It was perfect.
Oh my gosh.
See, there's that cheese nub. That's so good though. So the bread's still cheesy. Yum, yum. So usually the whole top of the thing is like just coated with cheese, with hard cheese. But this one, like I said, I messed up. But hey, oh well, still tasted good. And that's about the end of it. Here's my grilled cheese sandwich, my open-faced grilled cheese sandwich with the tomato soup. Such a yummy, delicious, cheap, easy lunch. That is it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Peace be with you. See you next time.